Well, good evening. Cool. I do have 20 minutes and 32 seconds. And, where to begin? Tonight, while walking the dog down the only road I've ever been down, a bittersweet symphony that it is, it occurred to me that we've reached a particular time in human consciousness and awakening where we need to actually do something. We need an actual rebellion. Peaceful, I hope. As peaceful as it possibly can be. But a meme I recently shared on my Facebook basically said, when the student asked his master, why are we preparing for war when we are gardeners? And the master responded along the lines of, I can never paraphrase too well, but it is better to be a warrior in a garden than to be a gardener in a war. Prepare for war, pray for peace. That is my philosophy. And that is why I've decided now is the time to put out the call. The call is going out now. Rainbow warriors of the world. Now is our time. We have to come together. And I'm prepared to be the facilitator of that. I've been given years and years and years, my entire life, of thought to this by wanting to be a gardener, but knowing we have to prepare for war. It's not an easy task. It's not going to be a bed of roses. But I know I live in a region where people genuinely care. We are earth lovers. We are earth carers. All we want to do is garden and sing and make love and be at peace with one another. But we don't have time to fucking scratch our asses because the cost of living is so ridiculously expensive, so stressful, that good people, ones like myself, they're knocking themselves off because there are no alternatives. Now, this was predicted long ago, that a tribe of people will come together and they will be called the Rainbow Warriors. We recognize no race, no creed, no belief. Whatever you believe and makes you happy and hurts nobody, go ahead and do it and practice it and be it and live it to the best of your ability. This is the sort of people I need. People who genuinely care for themselves, want to enhance their own health as best as possible. Now, yes, I admit, I drink beer. I don't drink spirits or very rarely a bit of wine, but I drink. I'm a regular drinker. This is my way of coping in this current crazy world. And maybe it's not helpful, but it is who I am. And I accept you for who you are. Whether you drink or not, I think it's great. I'm working towards reaching that point where I will no longer want to drink. Or if I do, it will be to have a nice relaxing beer at the end of the day to give thanks and praises to the abundance of this beautiful Mother Earth, which is what the Rainbow Warriors are fighting for. This is our war, to fight for Earth. We've had hundreds upon hundreds of years of evil men doing the most terrible things to the earth-loving, peaceful people. So we have to learn to defend ourselves, or we're going to be non-existent, and we're going to end up as grey aliens, which is exactly what they're doing at the moment. I'm going to combine a whole heap of things into this. Flat Earth, grey aliens, religion, superstition, Greek gods, And I hope I can get through this in 20 minutes because I've already done 5. Grey aliens, technology. A lot of our current technology comes from them. Recovered stuff from Roswell. Now, you might think I'm a bit crazy, but I know my shit. I research my shit, and I don't make up shit. Apple computers were contracted to take this technology a little bit of a time as they back engineered it and slowly release it. And all technology that we've had, especially since the 50s, it's making massive billions of dollars towards the people who recovered it. Who are they? The industrial military complex. All the profits are going to that. All scientific endeavours for hundreds upon hundreds of years have been designed to find better technological ways of killing people and controlling people and taking over countries and stealing wealth from people. This is what it's all about. The New World Order is all about. Microchipping of people is all about. All the chips, LED lights, a whole X, all back from things like not just Roswell, but many of these things. They're not aliens. Get this into your head. There is no outer space. Earth is flat and infinite. That is the truth. That is the one true God, Mother Earth. There is no doubt in my mind. All life stems from her womb, from her belly. Everything that we are is of the earth. Now, the Lucifer rebellion was all about sun worship. The sun is the greatest angel of the Mother God. She created the sun. And man, in their folly, decided to worship the sun as the giver of life, because we do depend upon it for everything, all life to exist. But it is the father of life, but the mother is the one that nurtures and gives birth and protects and houses and feeds and clothes and does everything for us. The giver of life, yes, absolutely. Very powerful, very important, but Lucifer worship is the downfall of mankind. We have to worship the Mother Earth first, and then give thanks and praises to the Father for all his heavenly blessings. See how simple it makes sense when you put it all into context. None of this ancient mythological religious superstition. It's all common sense from what we can observe, see, witness, and live. So we've got these organised men who, as a result of this Lucifer worship wealth. And they don't give a fuck about the Mother Earth. They are polluting her, raping her, pillaging her, poisoning her, doing everything they can to destroy God. Once you understand who she is and who we are the children of the Mother Earth and the Father Son. But the mother, that is everything. That is the infinite, endless, flat plane of which we know but a speck. And we think we're just a tiny little speck spinning on a magic ball, doing amazing speeds and carrying around a moon as we're doing these amazing speeds and holding an atmosphere in a vacuum of space. That is all bullshit. You've been brainwashed and indoctrinated your whole life, and you gotta get past that fucking bullshit. Rainbow warriors of Earth, understand. Earth is everything. It is the only physical plane in existence We are not floating in space. There is no such thing as space. We may or may not be covered by a firmament of some sort, which if we were, it would probably be ice, and the sun is what's carved out this giant snow globe or igloo inside a giant block of ice. But that's not really important. What is important is that the Earth that we live on is the only one we've got. It's the only one in existence. There is no plan. I always say planet, like it's a little plan. There is no plan B. This is plan A. Protect what we've got. Now, there's rising sea levels and global warming bullshit. Forget about it. That's just them polluting the fuck out of the place and trying to make us pay for what they're doing. No. We, children of Earth, rainbow warriors of the world, should not have to pay for their sins. That's their sins. We are here to save and work with it. Now, if you think about that concept I just said about the Earth, the sun carving out inside an ice block, well, yes, naturally, over time, the water levels will keep rising. And that is why we have to keep nurturing the Earth. Every time we pave over with concrete and roads and other stuff that are meant to be permanent, we're causing erosion, we're causing more earth to go into the ocean as well. Sea levels will keep rising, and if we're not feeding the earth, the growing, living earth with organic, proper structure, as it's always done, leaves, forests, trees, wastes, products not getting flushed into our streams, that is how the earth keeps growing and staying above water level. So that is our next aim. The biggest project, which we would get onto, I can't go into it in greatest detail right now, but it's managing our waterways with hempcrete. Now, I will put a link down below about a rant I made about the pyramids, how the pyramids were built. We can do the same. But what we need to do is start from the ground up, and not even that, from the water streams up. If we can start building proper stepped creek and river and water banks everywhere. Not these big sloping things like they have where big floods can go rushing through, but ones where every time the water level rises, it just steps out to another level, and then to another, and then to another. And then every year, as we build another crop of hemp to turn into hempcrete, we build another level. So then on this side and this side, the land is building up around it, and meanwhile the water is constantly being managed in safe, sustainable, manageable ways where people won't get rushed away in floods or animals. It slowly builds everything up as it's meant to be. It's applying technology, intuition, intelligence, and practicality into one. Now this is where we're at. Every time we get heavy rains here, what the cattle are doing to our creeks and waterways, it all gets flushed away down the streams. You see it bleeding brown and red almost. It's not the way to manage water. It has to be done with applied intelligence in such a way that it's practical, so the cattle can still access the water, so that we retain the land and stop washing it away into the ocean, so that the land keeps building, the waterways keep growing, and one day we'll have major river streams and stuff where once there was a tiny little creek, and around it will be thriving communities, all working organically and naturally thanks to the power of hemp, aquaponics, and applied technology based on natural principles. Now, I have plenty of plans. Don't have time to link to them all at the moment. We're running out of time. This is the time. Now, whether or not we're ready for a calling for Rainbow Warriors to come together, we can do it, but we need to get organised. I do know the perfect property. I've been pushing it all along. Olimaroa. It is ideal. It has enough to probably house several hundred people who are organised and ready to build into a permanent, organic, off-grid community. Trouble is, the property did sell recently, and a hostile takeover isn't sensible, because then we're just going to attract, the law. So it's a chance we could actually still purchase it, but we need a lot of people on the ground and get in there and do it hard and fast and do it right. Use the technology, use like water tank type septic systems where the methane is captured for heating and cooking and even electricity. Wind, solar, natural principles. I've been a big believer in all these things all my life. Natural thermal principles, underground structures for insulation rather than above ground full of artificial insulation. Tree houses, teepees. I wish I could extrapolate on all these hundreds and hundreds of ideas I've been working on. Thing is, I've reached the end. I can no longer afford to live. I can no longer afford my spiritual existence. Living as I do, as frugally as possible. I'm just not meant for this world. So, this is my big call out to all the rainbow warriors of the world. What would Jesus do? He would tell you to sell everything you own and give it to the poor. Well, we are the poor. I'm prepared to sell everything I've got and go and live in my car and get chased around from town to town, getting kicked out as a bum. That's no way of living. No, we need to establish a decent property. Now, I am going to catch up with a friend tomorrow, but he's talking about a lovely little property. It's only about 2.5 acres or something, and that's something at least. That might be some sort of reprieve for me to live on in the short term. But this 100-acre property with abundant water, abundant shade, abundant rock, abundant everything from the ground roots up, plus natural protection in every single way that you can think of, so that even should the authorities wish to invade us, they wouldn't have a hope in hell. This is naturally built in such a way that we could be formidable. We could be true warriors of the earth. And I don't say that lightly. So please get in touch with me. Let's do this and do it soon. Do it fast, because time is running out. And I don't know what's going to be happening in this new world order. But I do know that Mother Earth is eternal, and she needs us. She's calling out to us, and she has given me a vision and a plan, a multitude of plans. It's a multitude of tentacles and everything I can think of. I don't just do things a little at a time. Well, I do, because I can't do anything at all. But my plan is the plan. So please, you can help me in the immediate future, immediate now, by putting a little donation into ancients@hotmail.com through PayPal. That would be greatly beneficial. But think hard and fast about what is our future, and can we build a true community which can save the world? I believe we can. And I believe I have the plan, the know-how, the intuition, the intelligence, the diligence, and the drive, the will to make it happen. And we can make it happen. Let's do this. Rainbow warriors of the world, unite.